Hey folks, Matt here. Welcome to another video on my channel. This one's about making a nesting box for our grey chook. But obviously it's really about making a box with some proper joinery. So yeah, if you're up for that, follow along. Otherwise, thanks for stopping by. I really need to apologise in advance for the cicada noise. I've tried a microphone, that didn't make it any better, so I need to probably get some better equipment. I don't know. I'll try to fix it in the editing process, it's almost certainly going to be in the background. So anyway, let's get on with the build. Cheers, folks. This fine lady is Blorfington the Grey. She's a blue Orpington, and sadly she has no friends. And an interesting relationship with Pippi the cat. Hey folks, you're in for a super special treat today. Today I'm going to share with you my 3-step planning process for making this nesting box. Super secret, something that I don't talk to a lot of people about, but this is how it's done. This is the process. First of all, let's get rid of that stuff. Okay, so step 1, you've got to get the sizing right. You get it exactly right, or the poor girl's going to be uncomfortable in there. So the chicken, she's about that big. So I think the nesting box probably needs to be bigger than that. So that's step 1. Bigger than chook. Okay, very important first step. Second step, again, this is almost as important as step 1, maybe not quite, but this is a box, and a box typically has 4 walls around the outside, a bottom and a top, so that's essentially 6 pieces of wood. So that's step 2, 6 wood. All right, very good. And then third and probably the most important step is the chook needs to be able to get into the nesting box, and I need to be able to get eggs out of the nesting box. So it's going to need a door. No helicopter. I just have to be quiet because I don't want them spying on this secret information, right? Just wait for them to go. So yeah, very important, step 3. It's going to need a door and a lid. And so yeah, we'll write that down, door and lid. And there you have it. Couldn't be simpler, right? I know it is a bit complicated when you're first getting into it, but with this level of planning, what could possibly go wrong? So about that big. Chicken goes there. So 1, 2, 3, 4 panels, 4 boards, cut in half, times 6. That's what we need. Next, we do the jointing. Now we cut to width. So next we'll make some panels. I'll glue them all up together in a stack like this. I've got some baking paper to put in between the layers so that they don't stick together. Hey folks, I've got a bit of a confession to make here. When I started this project, I was maybe a little bit cocky. Some may even say I was being a bit of a smart ass with the whole chicken is that big kind of thing. And yeah, I guess confession time. These panels have sat in clamps for probably about a week, and that's because I don't really know what to do from here. I think as an apprentice, one of the things you do is you build a million boxes. I've not done that, so I still find building boxes daunting. I've done a few. So yeah, yeah, no more cockiness on this. I'll figure it out as we go along, and that's just part of the journey, right? So I'm going to take these out of here. I'm going to cut them into the biggest rectangles that I can get out of the stock, and then we'll go from there. It's about that big. I think that's pretty good. I think I have a new favourite tool, guys. I've used this once this morning. It's just a scraper. It's got a wee blade in it, and yeah, it's really good for getting off the excess glue. So get the cat. I'm fairly pleased with that. Got 3 big panels. They're not perfectly flat. You can see there's a bit of rock, but yeah, considering the lack of prep we put into them, we just basically edge jointed them and bunged them in the clamps. That's a pretty good result. So let's chop them up. Just quickly, what I've done here is I have marked up a reference edge, and then I've used the square to mark a line along the edge of the board that will make it as long as it possibly can, square to that reference edge. So I'll cut both ends off, and then I'll run it through and the table saw, and I'll cut this edge off, and that'll give us pretty square panels. Without a jointer, it won't be perfect, but it'll be pretty darn good. So that's the edges nice and square and clean. So the next thing, I'm just going to put the reference edge up against the fence and just skim off this edge. It's probably pretty good because the boards were jointed to start with, but we'll just shore it up with a little skim. To get the middle of these guys, what I'm doing, what I kind of always do is I'll measure the full panel. So that's like 910, half a 910, 455. I'll take a mil off that and I'll measure 454 from one end, and then 454 from the other end. And what I'll end up with is basically two lines. In between those two lines is dead center, and those lines represent essentially the kerf or thereabouts. So if I get the saw blade lined up in the middle of those two lines, I'll be pretty close to dead center without too much mucking around. And then there were 6. So that's step 2, 6 wood. Now, I just need some inspiration as to how I'm going to turn them into a box. There we go, all done. No, just starting to think about how it will fit with the shape of the panels. I think something like that. I did want to make the sides vertical, but because they're longer in that direction, I think it'll be better. Chicken doesn't need a lot of headroom for nesting, but a bit of space front to back would be nice. So we'll set them up, so right side, left side, back, top, front. I've chosen the two sides because they've got a bit of damage, so you can see that in there, but this one in particular is quite badly cracked. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make the sides slope, so we'll cut at an angle down there that gets rid of that damage. So I think I'll do that next. So I've got this jig set up to cut off that cracked piece. I joined the left and the right together. I've actually trimmed them up so that they're exactly the same length, and put them on the old jointing jig at a bit of an angle. So I'll run that through the saw and the job will be right. So there's your classic 2 birds with 1 stone. We've removed the cracked material off the side there, and made a bit of a skillion roof, so it slopes from back to front or front to back depending on how we build the rest of it, just to let the water run off it. I cut the sides a bit short so that the roof will overhang front, back and sides. So, and I've picked out the front, bottom and the back. Basically use the worst piece for the bottom, and yeah, we'll go from there. Next, I want to cut down the front and the back so that they will fit inside the holes. The next thing I want to do is cut some dados in the sides so that I can then rest these guys in them. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. I don't know if that's the best way to do what I'm trying to achieve, but I think gut feel tells me that about a third of the material deep is about right for the cut. I think I've heard that somewhere. I could look it up, but I feel that I'd learn better if I just do this, and if you guys could tell me in the comments below how I should have done it, then I'll learn better. So for now, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to cut a dado on the front and the back of each of these at a third of this thickness, which is 15 mil, so about 5 mil down. And yeah, we'll just come in, I don't know, maybe 10 mil from the front and the back, and that'll be that. About that big. Alright, so we've got some lovely grooves in there now. I just went with the width that I had, because I know the mating pieces are not flat. So what I'm going to do, rather than try to make the groove wide enough to fit the mating piece, I'm going to trim down the edge of the mating piece until it fits in the groove, because I think that'll reward us with a nicer fit. So yeah, that's what I'm going to do next. Just quickly on the setup, I put in this guy so that I can recess the blade back in. So in that direction the blade is sticking out 5 mil, because that's the depth of the cut, thereabouts. I can adjust that if I need to, and I've only got the teeth, focus, seems I can't focus. Alright, there we go. I've got the teeth sticking up less than a millimetre. I just want to take a really fine skim off one side and see what it looks like. So let's do that. All in all, I'm happy with that. I think that if I was working with better material that didn't have steps in it, like that step there, then that process would be a heck of a lot easier. So I'm going to take that as a win and move on. Obviously I need to trim down the front and the back, and we'll do that next. It's really starting to look a lot like a box now. I'm pretty excited. It's just sitting on there. Not sure how I'm going to attach that either. I feel like I say I'm not sure a lot in this project, but yeah, it's coming along. So next, what I'm going to do is I want to fit the base inside. That way water can't collect on it. If there's water running down the sides of the box, it won't be able to collect on the base. So that means more, I think, rabbets this time. They're called rabbets around the inside, and then cut this to fit in them. So yeah, we'll cut the rabbets. So for this cut, you can see that I've very carefully marked out the depth. Really, I just mark which face I'm going to cut, and I'm going to first cut a dado just away from the fence, so it'll be in there, and then I'm going to cut the rest of that off to make a rabbet. That way I don't have to muck around with the fence too much, and the base panel will sit up inside a good ways when we're all done. That's the plan. So the box is upside down here. You can see that rabbet around the bottom. So Now I'll just need to cut, not the lid, the bottom, to fit in that hole. But yeah, that should be pretty easy. Remember step 3 in our super special 3-step plan. Third and probably the most important step. I nearly glued this together without remembering we need a door and a lid. That would have been awkward. Best I cut a door in. The outer line is the line I traced there and there. I've come in 8mm, which is about the thickness of this guy here. So by my calculations, if I cut on those inside lines, that should just slot right in there. Just given all the inside pieces a quick sand. For anybody who doesn't know, chook's feet are surprisingly soft and susceptible to splinters, so I made sure there's no sharp edges, particularly on the floor. No splinters, no sharp edges, everything's nice and smooth to protect her feet. Alright, I think we're ready to glue. All glued up, a few nails. Didn't realise how flat the battery was on that pin nailer. Made a massive difference changing it out. Anyway, that's all come together fairly well. So, box made. Let you guys tell me in the comments below how much trouble I'm going to have with wood movement. There's no way any of it can move without breaking. It's all glued together. So, is it going to explode? I don't know. I kind of figured that by the time it pulls itself apart due to wood movement, it's probably going to have rotted anyway. So, I'm not overly worried. Anyway, we will see. And yeah, let me know what you think down below. I'd be really interested. We're ready to take this out of clamps. But before that, I just wanted to do a test kind of for my own peace of mind. I'm interested to know if I break this, is it going to break at the glue or the wood? Let's see. Broke at the wood. Again, the wood. And now I can't break it. Again, the wood. So I'm just curious about the glue joints. Anyway, that's all good. The wood is much weaker than the glue, and that's how it's supposed to be, right? There you go. Looks like it's fairly well held together, so I can call that a success. Alright, so box is all made. The lid is going to fit kind of flush to this edge, I think, when it's mounted, and then I'll hinge it so that it lifts up like that. Either that, or I will just put some inserts on the bottom side so it just fits in there. I haven't quite decided yet. So from here I'll just give it a bit of a sand, and then it'll be time to paint it. Couple quick takeaways before I go ahead and paint this. The painting will hide a lot of sins. Just a couple things I'd do different. Obviously, if I was making something really cool, I'd need to do something different about the way the corners work. I don't like that. Obviously, getting this gap in here really tight is probably almost impossible without flattening the board, so I'm not too concerned about that. I really like the way the bottom fitted in, so with the rabbets. I think if I did it again, I would try to figure out a way to use rabbets all the way around instead of the dados, and that would fix the corner issue there. Yeah, so that's probably it. But I do like the little overhang, the lip there. I reckon that I like the way that looks. So maybe make that bigger. I could always patch that corner. Anyway, just thought I would have a quick review before painting, because the painting will hide all the sins. I wasn't going to show this bit painting setup, whatever, but I think it's important. If you've got kind of one of these electric sprayers, they're not awesome, and also probably cheap paint. I found that if you sieve the paint first, like through, this is just a bit of fly wire taped to the pot. If you sieve it first, you get much better results. The nozzle doesn't get jammed up. So yeah, I just thought I'd show that process, how simple it is. Just basically sieve her in. And then now you can see what would have happened if I hadn't sieved it. So that's just cheap paint. He wants to know where her nesting box is. There we go. It's installed. I'll just have a little step there for her to pop up on, and hopefully we'll get some eggs. Wee ramp and a spot of straw should make it a lovely cozy spot for an egg. Fingers crossed. That was fun. I really need to get better at doing my big reveals, eh? I guess maybe when I make something a bit more spectacular than a nesting box, then obviously the reveals will get more spectacular as I'm more proud of the thing that I made, I guess. Anyway, obviously this was not really about making a nesting box. It was about making a box. It was about using, the dados and the rabbets to make the box and do the joinery in that way. And to be honest, I was really happy how it worked out. I think that'll give me confidence moving forward to tackle more and more projects, more complex, more traditional joinery, I guess, rather than screws and whacking things together. Learn to heat. So yeah, anyway, if you've come this far, thank you so much for following along. If you could give us a like and a subscribe, that would obviously adds motivation to help me, you know, improve quicker and to make the experience better for everyone. So that'd be great. Big thumbs up, and yeah, I can't wait to make the next one. Cheers guys, you have a good day. Peace.